This isn't your typical rom-com or even wedding movie. So I was just curious to know, and the question could go for both of you ladies. How was the auditioning process? I was just curious in what scenes that they would want you to audition for the audition.
I auditioned with the scene. I don't know if should ruin it, but it's the scene where I'm hysterically crying after injuring myself.
Okay.
And I think honestly, reading the script, I was immediately like, oh my god, I really want to be a part of this. And then reading the sides and seeing what scene I got to audition with, I was like, okay, this is so fun. Like, I'm gonna hate myself if I don't submit myself for this.
Okay.
But I really didn't think I would even be cast because I was like, I don't know if I'm believable as a bride. I play a teenager on TV, so I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna do this like 2 takes and call it a day. And then I learned that when I don't try, I do better. So here
Okay.
I am.
And what about you, Meredith?
Yeah, same. I read the script, thought it was amazing, saw who was involved, got really nervous before the audition because when you really want something, for me, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then I think I did the wedding speech, Misty's like speech that's not great. A couple of the Nile scenes with us where we're in the bathroom. Yeah, we had a couple of our scenes. Andy was there, and I wanted it, so I was very excited that it all happened.
Your role is very like unconventional. We're like, for some scenes, I don't want to give many spoilers, is like kind of crazy as well. So it's like for me, as I was just wondering, like as an actor, does that intimidate you with certain like sex scenes, or does that kind of like draw you in more to playing the character?
Can you imagine? I'm like, I love a sex scene. It always makes me go.
I know.
No, they're always awkward. They're so awkward, but she's such a fun character. She's at like a 10 and she's kind of hateable and human, I think, all at the same time. And so it's a kind of messy character that I just love to play.
Camila, I know that you're also fluent in Portuguese, right? You're Brazilian.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because I've actually watched a lot of like Brazilian telenovelas and series.
Wow.
But here in the States, I know it's like usually voice overed with like Spanish. And so for me, that's the way that I could like relate and understand it. But I was just curious, would you ever open up to doing maybe Brazilian independent films or even series out there?
Yeah. I would 100% do it. I mean, I grew up watching novelas too, and I watched Chocolate com Pimenta. I watched Malhação. What else did I watch? Mulheres Apaixonadas. I feel like I watched a bunch, especially when I lived in Brazil. So they have a soft place in my heart, and I would for sure do one if I got the chance.
Now I know I have a friend, and I know before you landed Riverdale, I know you came out, I believe, in an IKEA commercial.
Yeah.
And I have a friend in the commercial that you came out with. And,
wait, who?
Her name is Janice. She's like the one that passed me. Like,
yes.
Yeah. I wasn't sure I remembered. And I remember when she was like doing the commercial, when she landed it, she was so excited. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then she did. And then like a year later, I'm like, wait a minute, that girl looks familiar. And then it was you. So I know she's like really happy like for your success.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so sweet. She was lovely. I really loved, I mean, that was my first anything. That was my first time on a set. So she made me feel very comfortable.
I know, we used to be sister-in-laws. And then, you know, we had like similar paths and everything. And so we're both from the Bronx. And I know we're like really working hard to like kind of land that role. And like so many of us, everybody's doing like self-tapes at home.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps. And I know, Meredith, you're like recently married. You got married.
Yeah, I did.
This is like a rom-com, very unconventional wedding movie. But I'm in the process of also wedding planning. So do you have
congrats.
advice?
You know what's so funny? Because this movie isn't satirical about this wedding specifically, but they do capture that perfect Pinterest wedding. But because everything goes so wrong, I was like, I honestly was looking at almost the exact same awnings and stuff. And then I was like, I'm going to go a different direction because I don't want it to feel like I'm on the set of the movie I just did. Yeah, I just enjoyed it and had fun. We just basically had a barbecue and it was very fun. Good luck on your planning.
Thank you. I mean, it's very hard planning during a pandemic.
Yeah,
I'm sure, yeah.
In New York, so it's like pretty insane.
It'll be that much sweeter when you finally get to have it.
So now with Palm Springs, you had a small role in it, but it's not your traditional rom-com or even wedding movie. What drew you to this role to even participate in this movie?
Well, Andy Samberg was the first thing. We'd worked together 11 or 12 years ago for the first time. And, you know, he's a pal and I love his work and I love just hanging out with him. So when he asked me to look at the script, I was happy to do it. Loved the script. loved the character, as it developed, and then it was shooting close to home, so I got to work and be at home.
So now also with the pandemic, a lot of people have been talking about new shows to binge on. One of them obviously was Defending Jacob on Apple TV Plus. Now your role, everybody's talking about. A lot of people loved your role in it, the scenes that you had. And my question is, would you want to do more scenes like that? Would you want to do more roles like that? Your role obviously was impactful to many fans that was a fan of Defending Jacob. What more can you tell us about that show?
Well, it's based on the hit novel by William Landay, and Mark Bombeck did a brilliant adaptation. And, Chris Evans and Michelle Dockery and Jade Martell, it's a really beautifully done, like, dark, compelling family drama, legal drama, courtroom drama. And my character was just a sweetheart of a guy. Just an awful dark human being that it was. When you play those kinds of characters, it's kind of good to feel like you're getting something out of your system in a healthy, safe environment. So and I had a great time working with Chris on that too. So it's like that's like the real yin yang to Palm Springs. That's dark and pretty heavy, and Palm Springs is just a real ray of sunshine and fun and light that's is coming out now for people to also watch while they're hunkered down at home.
Now, even as an actor, when you tap into those very dark roles, is it easy to tap into that? Is there something that maybe you have to think about or really endure and go through that it's easy to tap into that, Because I would assume that sometimes it's hard, but I don't know.
Well, I'm not sure easy, but it's pretty straightforward for me now, with all the experience I've had, if the writing is good, and if there things that you can connect with and latch onto just as a human being, regardless of how far apart you and the character are, if there are human elements that you can latch onto, as there always are with really good writing, then it's pretty straightforward most of the time. You just gotta, sometimes you go to emotional places that are difficult, but real, hopefully.
I know that the movie actually debuted to very positive reviews. Everybody's talking good things about it, especially when it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival. But because of the pandemic, I know an alternative path was created where it's streaming early on Hulu, didn't really come out in the theaters. Is that disappointing? Or as actors, the question could go for either one, or does it really matter where your content gets viewed as long as fans see you? Do you have a preference?
No matter what, we're lucky to have been able to make something that gets put out and made.
Yeah.
That's to start with. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't disappointing personally that it's not going to go to theaters. That was definitely always part of the plan. Mm-hmm. And I think the movie theater experience is really a beautiful one. And this is a sort of raucous movie. And when we did see it in theaters, it was fun feeling the community of everyone in the theater laughing together and going on that roller coaster together a little bit. But that being said, considering what's happening in the world, I mean, it's incredible that we get to put it out and that millions of people are going to have access to it.
Have you ever went to a wedding in real life and experienced anything crazier than what you went through in the movie? I know a lot of people sometimes have crazy wedding stories. Do you personally have your own, of any friends or family members that got married and it was just like something that went crazy?
I crashed a car at a wedding once by accident, obviously. Like set out to do it when I was someone's +1 at the wedding and didn't know anyone in the wedding. And I was trying, we were all, it was really bad. We were trying to, the whole procession of the people from the wedding were trying to get to the reception hall down like a 1-lane country road. It was like in Maryland or something. And I don't remember, I don't know what happened, but I tried to like get out of the way and the car like kind of like blocked the road and then like got stuck in the dirt and like tail up. It was a nightmare and no one could get to the reception. No one could get to the reception. The brides were already there, just waiting. No one for like an hour until like a tow truck came and everyone was just sitting in the cars being like, "Who is this bitch?" Yeah, no anyone there.
And what about you, Andy? Anything crazy?
Nothing quite like that.
I don't think anybody could top that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I definitely got kind of hammered with my brother-in-law at my other sister's wedding, and we ended up like drunk and swimming in the ocean during the wedding. That was kind of funny.
All right, that's different.
The ceremony?
No, it was like people were dancing at that point.
Okay.
And we were just like, we're going in.
I know you're part of the show Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And I know Terry Crews just announced that the 4 episodes that were ready to go to show on television had to be scrapped from the show with everything going on in the country right now since the death of George Floyd. So what a new direction that you think the show would take now with everything happening?
Well, that's kind of what we're figuring out right now. I mean, clearly it was like status quo wasn't going to cut it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're a show that has not shied away from addressing social issues in the past, but it feels like it needs to be more than what we've done. So basically the whole writer's room is taking a hiatus, and everyone's reading and talking and educating themselves and learning as much as they can. And hopefully going to come back, and I think in conjunction with the cast as well, we're going to all start talking about what direction we all feel comfortable driving it. I think in some way, shape, or form, we're going to need to address a lot of what's happening.